Alright, back in the thing, baby. You know what it's talking about. For my members only player. I make sure I give y'all some time too, man. I know YouTube doesn't always do the best of jobs notifying my members only for the members only content. But yeah, man, make sure, y'all tapping into this thing, man. I see y'all pulling up DD Smalls, man. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you liking the music as well, man. Leah Warren, I see you in the house. Jerry MC, Najee Loud, Pat, what it do? Jason Winston. Okay. We turning up. Nah, definitely, like I said, definitely like this, man. And because of, the support that y'all continue to show, me, the channel, the podcast, like I said, man, I want to make sure that we kind of cut out some time just for you guys, all right? Because y'all like the OGs, but at the same time, like the diehards as well. Even though some of y'all are new, big time saluting of all y'all, though, man, all right? So, man, I like where we going already. Shout out to my man, Micah Hemp. Black Air Force One energy. Dude, I love that. Now, can we talk about that a little bit too, man? Hey, I thought I had me some more drink down here. I guess I got to go to old H2O. But, man, the Black Air Force Ones, man. Shout out to my homie Coach T for that one. Nah, I definitely love that, man, because I thought that it set the tone. When you're talking about playing on the road, you talk about going in some of these stadiums, man. You have to have a certain mindset. AFC North football, it is real. And today, man, watching that game, it felt like old school AFC North football. It felt like, when we were out there, 2014 through 17. You know what I mean? When everything was getting just crazy, all the back and forth, the crazy hits, the pre-game antics, everything. Like, man, watching that game, man, seeing how physical it was, seeing just how both teams weren't trying to back down, even though it wasn't pretty football, it was one of those ones where you throw the records out the window and you let these dudes just go at it. And that's what I thought was the energy from us as a Steelers team. And I think that, man, that's what it started, though. When Coach T brought out them Black Air Force Ones for the whole squad, it was a funny thing in terms of fans and national media, but knowing Coach Tomlin, man, that's how he sends messages. And we all know, for those that don't know what Black Air Force One energy is, man, it's that gutter, it's that gritty, it's that, man, you better tuck your chain, hide your wallet, put the women and kids to bed. It's about to get ugly out here, Like, it's demon time. It's no holds bar. It's just janky, And that's the Air Force One energy, man. It's the Patrick Beverly, right? It's the NBA young boy. It's the NFL young boy. It's all that type of stuff that we like to joke about. But that's what it is. It's a mindset, man. It's a mindset that we're not taking any crap today. And that everything that we're going to go out here and get, we're going to get it in blood. I thought that we definitely did that, man, as a whole, man. So salute Coach Tomlin for that concept, baby. Brandon Griffin, winning week one is always motivation. You better believe that, man. Nothing better than starting the season off 1-0. When you talk about off seasons, man, you spend all this time preparing to go 1-0. You're preparing for the opener. And that's all you're thinking about. Every meeting, the winter sprints, or the conditioning sprints, the lifting, everything that you're doing, you're trying to win. And to get that first win off your back, I mean, it's huge. Number one, it counts twofold because it was a division opponent. Not only did you get a win in the division, but you gave one of your opponents in the division a loss. That's huge for us. The AFC went on top of that. But then you also feel confident, number one, that we're not going to go over this year. Oh, there we go. You always want to check that box off. All right. Being as a guy that my first time in the NFL, I went 0-8 to start it off. Yeah. You never take it for granted, all right? So, for me, man, winning week one, man, is a huge thing, man. I think it's a tone setter for these guys. It's a confidence booster as well. When you talk about this offense, as much as we're going to criticize them, as much as they've already been criticized, the one thing they're going to hang their hat on is this, man. They're going to be telling themselves, all right, we didn't turn the ball over, but we could definitely play a lot better. And that's the part for me, man. If you're this offense, you have to be excited about. You say, hey, man, as bad as we play, we still find a way to get out that stadium. We still made a play when we needed to make a play in overtime, having to get it with the game on the line. So from there, you build upon that. And I think, man, as a whole, I'm going to say it's going to be a good situation for us for that. All right, let's see what else we got in this thing, baby. And, man, big time salute to all of you guys. All right. Oh, we did get a super that popped up. Russell Schwartz, he says, is it just me, or is Canada looking like Randy 2.0? Well, the similarities are naturally going to be there because you think about when did we start to see Randy Fiegner was when we started to see this offensive line start to get bad. That changed how we were able to call calls. That changed what we were able to do in terms of just the overall flow of the game, a consistency part of the game. And we still have not recovered offensive line just yet. So, yeah, it's not too far-fetched to think like that, man. That is very much real. But that's one of the things when we talk about this offensive line having to just be more consistent and improve. They will, but we can't act like they were, the worst offensive line out there, because they were not. We just put them in better positions, and that's what got us out of that stadium versus the Bengals, who we saw, what Joe Burrow had to endure from a pressure standpoint. It's a difference in philosophies. One looks better, but one has a ton more risk. We look at how ours played. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't pretty, but what did we do? We protected the ball. We made plays when we needed to make plays. Early on, that's what you're going to look like. Early on, that's what it is, man. But either way, 1-0. So we rolling with it, baby. All right. Let me see. I see you, Luke Walker. Get me the tackle from Northwestern. This team stinks. Well, hey, man, you also have to remember, man, we are starting a 4th-round draft pick. Dan Moore isn't a 1st-round, 2nd-round draft pick, not even a 3rd-round draft pick. Kendrick Green was that, at least. So when we talk about pedigree, yeah, it's not going to be the most ideal always. Has he regressed in certain elements? We can make a case for that. But at the same time, I just think as a whole, man, this is what we're going to be dealing with early on, man, until those guys start to elevate their play or we bring in new talent. But we talked about some of the new talent that's available. It's not a ton out there. We saw the Cowboys, they lost their starting left tackle and Tyron Smith, and who did they bring in? 40-year-old Jason Peters. I'm sorry, I'm not eager to bring in 40-year-old Jason Peters, man. I don't think that's an upgrade to me, man, personally. So that's, like I said, why we're going to have to kind of deal with this and work through it. But I do think that Matt Canada did what he needed to do today. We can't survive like this for 18 weeks, but we could get through today like this. Because you also have to think in context, man. If the Bengals had 1 less turnover, it's a different game. If they had 2 less turnovers, it's a different game. If they had 3 less turnovers, it's a different game. If they had 4 less turnovers, it's a different game. If they had 5 less, you see the theme right here, right? Oh, okay. If they long snapper was hurt, 1 play later versus 2 plays, or however we want to go down, like all the field goals, there's a lot that goes into that. So that's why, like I said, I'm not justifying and saying that, hey man, this offense is going to be good enough for us to go forward. But for today, it was enough. All right, and Cameron Strader, he said, would you have taken a loss if it meant that no one got injured? Ooh, that's a loaded question in a sense. I like it though. I'm going to cheat and say I need to know the severity of the injuries first. Granted, we saw TJ saying it's the pec. And my personal experience is that's what gives me a lot more information with the pec injuries. With Najee, we still don't know what it is. So if their injuries are short-term or it's not as significant, then I'm not tripping on it. If the injuries are significant, it sucks. But at the same time, injuries do happen. And you need to win, though. So I would much rather we had the injuries and we won the game than everybody stays healthy, but we got a loss and then one loss turns to another loss and another, because at the end of the day, you can have a healthy team, but your team sucks. It's not going to matter. So that's the part for me where it's like, man, you got to win. And that's why you trust your depth. You trust your players. Obviously, we brought in Malik Reed for a reason. Alex Highsmith was having a heck of a game also. I think, if we had to pick one where it's like, dang, I wish it wouldn't have been those 2 players in terms of TJ and Najee. But at the same time, it's kind of like, man, I can't go into a game and say, hey, we don't want to win if it means these guys are going to get hurt. Because it's the NFL, man. People get hurt. It's part of it, But that's a good question. I definitely like that. All right, let me see what y'all talking about over here. Hey, Donald Copeland, Larry Revenge Game. He was killing Mixon. Yeah, Larry Ogunjobi, man. Absolutely, man. He was definitely on one today, man. But Larry's a good player. Big fan of Larry's game, man, especially when he's healthy. And he's getting healthy. I still think that he's getting in better shape as this goes along. Because he didn't get to have a full offseason. He didn't get to have the full training camp because he was dealing with the foot injury that he obviously had surgery for that made the Chicago Bears back out of that deal that they had. So for me, man, when I watch Larry, I'm like, yeah, what we see today, I'm hoping that this is the worst version of Larry, because I think the more he gets in game shape, the more his body gets where it needs to be, I think that he'll be even more of an impactful player for us. All right, Cameron Strader, DeMarvin Leal looked pretty good too. No, I would agree on that, man. I thought that DeMarvin was definitely flying around out there. I want to see what he went down with because obviously he had left the game late, so I guess I haven't had a chance to go back and look like the injury report and stuff like that. But I definitely want to see that part though, man. And Donald Copeland also said the rush defense is back. I would agree with you there, man. Now I would definitely agree with you there, man. When you're talking about being able to stop the run now, could it have been better? Sure. But as a whole, man, kept Joe Mixon under 100 yards. That's the one for me. Did he get hurt? Sure. Not sure the severity of it, but keeping him, 3 yards a pop, 27 carries, 82 yards. He had the long run that it was like on the 4th and 1 or whatever, spits out the front side and stuff like that. But he still was playing well though. I'm not even going to fake on you, man. He was definitely playing well, but I just thought as a whole, man, we won enough of those matchups, man. Minka was doing his thing in that as well, man, because sometimes you're going to have these plays where he's, getting a 4 or 5 yard run and you just got to get on the ground. And I thought that we did a good job of that as well, man. So, definitely shout out to the run defense. Oh, Michael Patrick McCracken. What's good, baby? He says, do you think there is any correlation to lack of preseason snaps and regular season injuries? Minka was playing with attitude. Looked great. Yes and no. Because obviously you hear the people talk about acclimation periods. And I do feel like you need an acclimation period in terms of getting your body prepared for like the contact part of it. But the difference is this, man. Just because you're not playing in a preseason game, you're still practicing and still having physical practices. I know in Pittsburgh we do. So that part, that's why I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with the correlation directly. Some stuff I just think is just football. It's literally 100% injury rate. You play football at the NFL level, you are going to get hurt. The question is, how serious are these injuries? But you're going to get hurt. That's just the reality of it. I don't think that when Najee, the way that he got hit and folded up and how they rolled up on him, preseason game or not, that's going to suck. That's going to hurt you. I don't think that matters if that was a regular season game or a preseason game or even a playoff game. Like, it's certain players like that you can't avoid. TJ Watt, bull rush outside the framework of his body in terms of his arms, reaching for the quarterback. I don't think a preseason game will really determine, that muscle or his body being acclimated for that. I think that's just one of those freaky one-off like football plays because we've seen TJ make those type of plays before and nothing ever happened. It's just a part of it, man. So that's why I don't think it's like a direct correlation. I mean, I understand like we could probably draw some similarities, but yeah, I just think, man, football is just violent and dudes are going to get hurt. You just hope that it's less of our guys and the guys that do get hurt is not as serious. So we shall see though with them though going forward, man. Hopefully they bounce back soon though. All right, Q says, great game, but there's a lot to fix with the offense. Plus, Minka was on another level. Yes, he was. Minka's going to have to be like that too, man. Depending on how long TJ Watt is out, I do think it's going to be a good amount of time, man, just based on what he was seeing in terms of saying that he tore his pec, and being a guy who's familiar with that, man. So we will see. But, Minka, the way he was going off the day, man, we need that. The pick six, that's depoy status. That's the type of stuff you need. We talked about on the podcast, man, over under 4.5 turnovers for Minka for the season. Well, man, I think he started off the right way today, man. So for him to be depoy, he's gonna need more and more games like that, man. But he's more than capable of it. So let's keep it going with my dog Mink, man. And like I said, with the offense, man, yeah, they're gonna be a work in progress. They're gonna have a ton of work, but at the same time, remember, where is all of our money? Where is all of our high-end draft picks? All of that is on the defensive side of the ball. We talk about the offense. We like our skill positions, but we got a lot of talent, a lot of high pedigree guys. So first-round draft pick, second-round wide receiver, third-round wide receiver, second-round wide receiver. We got all this talent. Second-round tight end. When we talk offensive line, it's not the same. And that's, the issue. So, yeah, they're gonna take some time. It's gonna be some growing pains on that side, man. But either way, they're gonna survive. All right. Let's see who we got over here. Nick Watt. Walk in your trap and take over your trap. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's for certain what the boys did today, man. And, it started with Coach Tomlin, Black Air Force energy, man. You know what time we on, man. As soon as the boys broke out there with that thing, man, you could see the energy, but you could also see the focus. And that was my biggest thing that I was impressed with. I thought the intensity was there from start to finish. They never warmed up to it. They didn't come into the stadium with the big eyes looking like, oh, man, it's the Bengals. It's like, nah, man, we at your neck. We feel disrespected for everything that happened last year. We don't care what you guys did last year. It's a new season. And I thought that was the energy. And I thought that was the tone that was set early on in this game. And I thought that's why we were able to make the game the way that it was and why we were able to ultimately, force the overtime and stuff like that in spite of us having some of the shortcomings that we had personally on offense, stuff like that, man. But I definitely like that energy from us, man. We need more of that too, man. All right, Lubo. Why not run more designed QB runs to pick up them thirds and shorts? I feel the game could have been less stressing if we just moved the ball and picked up more first downs. Well, yeah, I mean, every team says that, right? If you pick up more first downs, it does make it a lot less stressful. But if that's the case, then everybody was scoring every possession because you just keep getting first down, and then touchdowns. That's not realistic. And it's definitely not realistic for us with, some of the offensive personnel that we have. And, that's a part of it. We're not going to be able to have elite offense, elite defense, elite D-line, elite offense line, elite everywhere. Like, at the NFL, when we got salary caps, you're going to have holes on your team. Every team has that. Talk about the Cincinnati Bengals team. You know what their hole is? Offensive line. Same concept. But the difference is in terms of ego, pride, and just play calling, right? Is your pride going to say, man, we ain't winning ugly. We're gonna go out there and run what we want to do. We're going to take shots downfield? Okay. Well, you can get your quarterback jacked up. We saw how Joe Burrow was looking. He was getting hit a lot. All right, ego. Hey, man, I know I should have a little bit more short to quick passing attack. Might not be as pretty. Big body personnel groupings. But, hey, that don't look good enough. I'm still taking my shots. All right, cool. Saw the Bengals offensive line looked again, though. They got cooked at times. All right, so that's my whole dilemma with this, man. Can't have it both ways. Can't have it both ways, man. But in terms of some of the design QB runs, sure. I don't know. It's just funny to me, man. When I think of running quarterbacks, right? Lamar Jackson, talk about, hey, man, you're running too much. You don't want the guy to run. You can get him hurt. Josh Allen, you watch him run. Oh, man, I like it. But, hey, man, he takes a lot of shots. And those guys are built for that. We got Mitch, who's athletic. I'm with you on that. But he ain't built like them dudes for, like, running. But it's like, man, the more you put him in those situations, the more chance you're going to have for negative things happening. That's why, for me, I'm not really into that with Mitch or any of our quarterbacks in particular, man. I think, we can come up with some different concepts. To me, personally, I like to go more play action. I like to go move in the pocket in terms of the sprint outs, the rollouts, and just 2 tight end sets. I think that protects your edges, which ultimately give you more time to do what you need to do, turn some of these longer development routes. Receivers also got to win, too. That's the other part of it. I thought that the Bengals DBs, they did their thing out there, man. They were having some success. You got to give them the credit, man. But that's kind of my thought process, though, with the whole, QB run-in situation. Just, it's not really feeling that, man. All right. Brandon Griffin says, hopefully the secondary stays healthy all season. Yeah, we definitely going to need that, especially if TJ Watt's going to miss, a good amount of time. And we're going to definitely need that secondary to be doing what they're doing. And Alex Highsmith. He was on one today, man. We're going to need him to keep being like that as well, man. All right. Next up, we got Mike Lang. Says, offense needs time to grow. Absolutely. Defense is usually ahead of the offense. Absolutely. People have to give Canada a chance to see what works and what doesn't. Absolutely. But why don't we run more dig routes? In cuts, nothing over the middle of the field. No, when we're talking about some of the criticism, absolutely. But that's something for me that I want to go back and look at the tape to see why not. Because we can sit here and say, well, hey, man, because we didn't see any completions over the middle of the field, that's a coordinator thing. That's a quarterback thing. But I want to go back and look and see where guys are actually getting open across the middle of the field. When those guys were getting open, what was the protection like? Because all those things kind of go hand in hand. So I know, in terms of the knee-jerk reaction, it's easy to just sit here and say, hey, nothing over the middle of the field. We got to stretch the middle of the field. Man, that's bad on the quarterback. It's bad on the coordinators. But if guys are in the middle of the field, but the offensive line is protecting, or offensive line is protecting, but guys aren't winning, then there's no point in just throwing it just to throw it. So like I said, that's why for me, I want to wait to check the tape, and then we'll talk about some of that stuff as well, man. But we shall see though, man. They do got to improve though, 100%. Oh, and definitely hit the like button. I totally forgot all about that. Shout out to David Dupree, man, for reminding me on that, man. But yeah, hit that like button, man. If y'all are with us today, man, you gotta like it. Like, and subscribe. But if you're here as a room member, you already subscribed. We know that, baby. So major love. All right. Let's see. Jason Winston. Moats, how do you feel about our offense against New England's defense next week? I haven't looked at the Patriots just yet. I know that they lost to Miami. I think it was like 20-7. But yeah, I have not checked them out just yet. So obviously, like I said, when I go back and rewatch this tape, see what we did right, what we did wrong, then we'll go over there and start watching New England and get from there. But man, tune in on Wednesday for Wednesday's podcast. That's when we will be doing that game preview live as well, man. So definitely make sure you are there for that. Hi. And then Derek Clark brings up a good point. He says we can't rely on our defense every week. We can't rely on that amount of turnovers every week. That's the difference to me. I think that this defense can stop the run consistently. I think this defense can, depending on how long TJ is out, I think they can continue to create havoc in terms of the pass rush. I think these corners can win enough between the plays where they're supposed to make and then just their smarts and their savviness. So Kello obviously made some plays. Cam Sutton made some plays like that where you can just see the savviness. Levi Wallace as well. That's the part where it's like, yo, you can count on all those things. The pick sixes, you can't hang your head on that. You know what I mean? The amount of picks, can't hang your head on that. Those are some of the stuff that will balance itself out. But everything else, though, in terms of sacks, in terms of stopping the run, in terms of creating a hostile environment, in terms of tackling the catch, communication, no blown assignments, yeah, we can. Yes, we can. And our team is designed to count on those guys. So, for me, man, I expect to see that going forward in a major way. TJ Watt, that's the big concern for me right now. We got to see what that looks like, man, and how they ultimately go about replacing his productivity if he is going to miss a substantial amount of time. We got a couple more minutes when we're going to be up here. All right. Okay, let me see. And then Jason Winston, yeah, we got to capitalize on the turnovers. I agree with you on that, man. And that's something that we talked about, obviously, on the big stream for everybody else. But yeah, you can't have that many turnovers, that many short fields, and get just field goals off of that. That is the recipe for disaster. That's why the Bengals, as bad as they had played, as much turnovers as we had created, and all this other stuff that went well for us and went right for us, why it took a game-winning field goal in overtime with 3 seconds on the clock. Because we couldn't capitalize in the red zone, because we couldn't capitalize on said turnover. So that is something that, man, we're definitely going to have to improve upon, man. But, you know, it's one of them things, man. It's a lot more fun to correct it and critique it after a win than it is after a loss. So let's roll with it, baby. All right, and then the last one we have is from R. Barley 18. He says, where was the moving pockets RPO we got from Kenny that made him look good? Yet it's back to kind of trash calls for Mitch. Yeah, some of the stuff you saw in the preseason RPOs, yeah, that helps Kenny. That's what we traditionally see in the college style setting. And we talk about why some of those things work and things like that. I'm going to go back and look to see, you know, how many of the RPO stuff we call, but you also have to remember, even with RPOs, last year we complained about, man, all right, are you running these RPOs or are you just throwing the ball? All right, so now we're going to go back and look, okay, are these RPOs where it was a good read? Was it a bad read? Is it an RPO where the receiver just wasn't winning? Like, it's a lot of context, you know? But either way, offense has to be better. And that's why I stand on it, man. Yeah, we're not going to sugarcoat it, but at the same time, we're not going to act like they played terrible either. And that's the concept that we all got to understand, because if they don't do what they did, especially in overtime, we're not winning this game. We can't talk about Boss hitting a 53-yard field goal. We don't talk about Mitch connecting with Pat. If we don't talk about Deontay making a heck of a grab down the sideline. That's the offense being productive. So for those plays, that includes what? Mitch throwing the ball. That includes what? Matt Canada calling these calls. The two people that we keep criticizing, that we keep saying aren't good enough. It's like, nah, we playing the plays where they making plays where we got to make them. That's all I'm gonna say, man. But either way, man, it was definitely a vibe. And I'm so glad that we won. So here we are sitting at 1-0, but you know what it is, man. Make sure y'all tune in for the podcast, all right? 4 o'clock tomorrow. You don't want to miss it, man. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a wild one. But either way, man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all rocking with me today. And until next time, baby. Peace.